In this course, you're going to learn how to cut and sew these beautiful trousers. If you haven't enrolled in my jacket course, you can enroll so that you can make your beautiful suit of trousers and jackets. So let's start by drafting the front side of the trousers. So we're going to use this pattern drafting paper to make the trousers pattern, and the following measurements that I've put on the screen, those are the measurements you're going to need. So this is a high-waisted trousers, and it's going to have a waistband of 2 inches. So I'm going to start by placing my waist to trousers full length, and as you can see, I'm taking out 2 inches that will be used for my waistband. So that 2 inches will be for my waistband that I'm going to make later on. So let's mark our waist to trousers full length. The next, I'll mark my waist to crotch depth. So after calculating your crotch depth, you are going to add 2.5 inches to your measurement, because this is a loose fitted trousers and it's a high-waisted. And for those of you who don't know how to take your crotch measurements, you can just sit on a flat surface and place the measuring tape from your waist down to the seat, as you can see. Then next, I'm going to mark my waist to hip measurement. And another way of taking your crotch measurement is just dividing your hip by 4. That is another way of taking your crotch measurement. So next, we're going to mark my waist to knee, and then we're going to draw horizontal lines on the waist to hip line, as you can see. Then I'm also going to draw another horizontal line on the waist to crotch depth. So the next thing that we're going to do is, this is my knee line. I'm drawing another horizontal line on my knee line, and that is my full length or ankle. And also on my full length, I added hemming allowance. You can use 1 inch or 2 inches. It all depends up to your preferences. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'll get my hip circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch of sewing allowance. Sewing allowance is very, very important, guys. Don't miss the sewing allowance, or else your clothes will not fit well. So at this point, you can decide to add a little ease if you don't want it to be too tight on your hip, but I want mine tight, so I'm not adding ease, I'm just adding seam allowance. So the same measurement will be marked on the crotch line as well. Then I'm going to draw a horizontal line from there going vertically upwards to the waist line. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my crotch extension by coming out by 2.5 on my crotch line, or 2 inches. You can use 2 inches or 2.5. Then I'm going to get my French curve ruler and I'm going to shape my crotch extension. So this is my crotch extension, as you can see. Then the next thing I'm going to do, I'll get my waist circumference divided by 4 plus seam allowance of 1 inch. So as again, I don't want ease on my waist. I want it to be tight. So I'll leave it as is and I only add seam allowance. So I'll place the measuring tape from that side going towards me. So the measuring tape was placed from here to here. Then I'll connect and curve my hip with my ruler, as you can see. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this down, because this trousers is going to be tight on my waist and hip, but on the legs it will be free. It's not going to be too tight. It's not going to be tight. So I'm just going to connect and shape it, as you can see. Then next I'm just going to cut it out. Then we're going to get ready to draft the back side of the trousers. So I'm just cutting out. Then we can use this pattern. Let's draft the back side of the trousers now. We'll use the front to make the back side of the trousers. So I'm going to place my front pattern on another pattern drafting paper, as you can see. Then I'm going to do a little modifications in order to make my trousers for the back. Remember, the back is bigger than the front. So just remember that. So at this point, I'm going to go inwards by 2 inches. Then I'm going to go up by 2 inches. Then I'm going to connect. Then on my waist side, I'm going to move outwards. As you can see, I'm going to measure 2 inches as well. Then I'm going to connect diagonal lines together. I'm going to connect the lines, as you can see. Then on my hip line, I'm going to go outwards. I'll just get my measuring tape and go outwards by 1.5 inches. Then on my knee line, I'm also going to go outwards by, then on the full length, I'm also going to go outwards, as you can see. Then I'm going to connect. After connecting the sides, I'm now going to extend my crotch for the back. I'm going to go outwards by 2 inches on the crotch. Then I'm going to connect this crotch to, let me just draw this line here. So this is a 2 inches crotch. I'm going to connect it down to my knee line. So as you can see, I'm just blending it in beautifully. I'm just tracing out the other part of the back trousers, as you can see. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'll connect and curve my crotch from here to that. So I'm just going to remove this, and then I'm going to make my back crotch. So here you can just use your free hand, or you can use your ruler. If you have your French curve, you can use your French curve, but I'm just going to connect with my free hand. As you can see, I'll just connect this part and join it to that part. I'm just going to start from there and make my back crotch. Yep. So now we have our pattern. I'm just going to cut out the back, and remember the back is always bigger than the front. So now let's start cutting the fabric. So I have cut out my 2 front pieces and 2 back pieces, and I'm also going to overlock them. I'll take them to my serger overlocker and overlock all around them. So as you can see, I have overlocked all around them while it's looking yellow on the sides. I have overlocked everywhere here, there, and down there. Then now let's start sewing the trousers. So to sew the trousers, I'll start by getting the 2 front pieces together. I'll place them on top of each other, right sides facing each other. Then I'll sew on the crotch line. So I'm just going to take it to my sewing machine. I'll do the same with my back. I'm going to sew along by 1/2 inch. So this is my back. I'll do the same. I'll place them right sides facing each other. Then I'm going to sew on the back crotch as well. So let's just take this to the sewing machine and I'll be back. Sewing the waistband. So now let's sew the waistband. Remember, I left out 2 inches for the waistband. So these 2 inches, this is the waistband I've made, and I've attached fusible interfacing on it, and I've folded the same allowances, as you can see. So this is the waistband. Sewing the trouser sides. So after attaching at the crotch, we're now going to sew the trouser sides. I'll place the back side on top of the front side, right sides facing each other. So as you can see, I have sewn these sides. I'm now going to place the back side on top of the front side, or the back or the front on top of the back. Either way you decide. Then we're going to start sewing. So let me just align it well. so that you guys can see what I mean. And remember, the back side is always bigger than the front side. So I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew on the sides. You can decide to pin it with your pins so that you can do a better job. Then this is my zipper. Before I sew the sides, I need to leave out, so this trouser is going to have a zipper at the sides. So I'm going to measure where my zipper is going to end. Then I'm going to stitch from where the mark is for the zipper. This part will be left open because we're going to put in our zipper. So I'm going to stitch from down here and on the other side. Remember, I'm not sewing at the inseam yet. I'm just sewing on the sides. This side will be sewn later. And we're going to pin it before sewing. But for now, we're just going to sew the sides. And remember, we're going to leave out the part for the zipper open. This part for the zipper is going to be left open. So just mark where your zipper ends. And then I'm going to put my waistband. After sewing the zipper, I'm also going to put my waistband. So I have sewn the sides, as you can see, and the part for the zipper is open. The next, I'm going to pin it and sew at the center in the inseam. So this is how it looks. As you can see, I'm going to sew the inseam at the center and then I'm going to attach my zipper and the waistband. So I left this part open. I'm going to put the zipper, but I managed, and then I'm going to attach my waistband, and also I'm going to press all the seams open. Then I'm going to hem my trousers as well. So let me just show you how we will sew the center. I'll start from the center crotch here. Align, make sure the crotch is aligned front and back properly. You can pin at this point. Then you take it to the sewing machine. Starting from the center, you're going to stitch this side and then you're going to go and stitch on the other side. So guys, I'm sure you've seen how easy it is to sew the trousers. So next we're going to attach the waistband to the trousers. Sew the waistband and zipper. So now that we have sewn the whole trousers, we're going to attach the waistband and the zipper of the trousers. And then finally we're going to hem the trousers. So just going to fold it and press, then hem. Then after you're done sewing everything, this is how beautiful your trousers should look like.